Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're very welcome. My name is Any Beauty, and today I'm jumping straight into this makeup tutorial. So I'm going to be carving my client's face, her eyebrow. So that is what I'm doing. I'm just carving out her eyebrow, making it to have shape, because it was looking shapeless initially, so I had to bring the shape out. So I'm done carving the eyebrow. I'm just using my Adventure micellar cleansing water with my wipes to clean all over her face. So next I'm using my Mismetic Moisture Bomb as her moisturizer, and I'm using my Rimmel Stay Matte Primer as her primer. So now I'm using my eyebrow hair wax to brush through her eyebrow. I want it to be in place and to lie it down very well. So I'm just using my setting powder right now to set her eyebrow. I'm using my powder brush to dust out the setting powder off the eyebrow hair. So I'm using my Kairat brown gel liner. That's my eyebrow pomade. That's what I'm using to line her eyebrow. I'll be using my Kairat and my Davins No. 3 eye pencil, the both, to do the lining of the eyebrow. Please, when you're lining your eyebrow, don't overline it. Don't just follow the shape of your client's face or your model's face, depending on who you're doing makeup on, or on your face. Just follow the exact shape of the person's eyebrow. Even if you must add hand a bit, that's when the person doesn't have much eyebrow hair. So that's when you add a little bit of hand, just small. So I'm using my Davins No. 3 eye pencil to draw hairs like structures. So I'm just using my eye pencil to fill in the eyebrow. Please, when you're doing this, don't press just do it slightly. Ensure the pencil is very, very sharp and pointed, so it doesn't look thick. Just fill it in slightly. So that is what I'm doing right now. I'm just filling it gradually. So I did the other eye off camera. I'm using my LA Pro concealer in the shade Pure Beige and Fawn. I'm mixing them together to conceal her eyebrow hair. So when you're concealing this, you have to be very, very careful. So that is what I'm doing right now. I'm just concealing my eyebrow hair gently and carefully. So I'm just doing it gently. Don't overdo this. When you're doing it, concealing your eyebrow, you have to be careful. So I'm using the Fawn for the inner corner of the eyebrow hair, and I'll be using it for the outer corner of the eyebrow hair as well. So that is what I'm doing right now. So I'm using my fluffy brush to blend my concealer. So I'm just using my hand to tap and blend it. So I did the other eyes off camera. I'm lining the upper part of the eyebrow hair now. I'm using my HD Classic Foundation in the shade 001. So I'm going to be using that for the upper part of her eyebrow, because that's the foundation I'm going to be using all over her face. And I mixed that with the foundation with 03, a bit of 03, just to get her shade. She's not too very white or very fair person, so she's fair but not too white. So I had to mix the foundation with a little bit of the dark one, small dark one, just to get her shade. So I'm done with that. I'm just using my brush to blend. I'm blending it now. So when you do this, you have to take your time to blend it very, very well. So I'm going to do the other eyes now. I'm doing what I did on the other parts. That is what I'm doing. I'm just showing you where I'm going to be cutting it, because my student is standing there and watching what I'm doing. So I'm just showing her, and I'm showing every one of you how to conceal the upper part. And if you the eyebrow is not properly shaped, or if you have any place you need to correct, you have to use a foundation or concealer. I know those foundation or concealer are meant to correct our eyebrow. So that is what I'm doing. I'm using it to correct it. I'm just concealing it gradually. So when you're concealing eyebrow, please take your time. You have to be careful. Don't rush. Do not rush. So now I've gotten the perfect shape that I want. I'm just blending. I'm just doing the finishing touching. So I'm just using my brush to blend it. That is what I'm doing. So I'm using my eyeshadow primer, my classic eyeshadow primer on her eyelid. So I'm just blending. I've blended the eyeshadow primer. So I'm using her powder shade. To set under the eyebrow hair. So I'm using my Tijan USA eyeshadow palette for her eyeshadow. So I started with the outer corner of her eyes. I started with the outer part. I'm using this shade from my eyeshadow palette. So I'm using the other one for the inner corner of the eyebrow. So I'm just using it to tap it. So I'm just tapping it, tapping. That's what I'm doing. I'm just tapping it in and blending as well. So now I'm using my brown eyeshadow, the brown matte. That's what I'm using there to blend the both colors I use at the top of the eyeshadow. So I'm just blending. Please, when you're blending eyeshadow, you have to take your time and do that. Blending is key. You have to blend so that there will be no harsh line. So I'm done with that. I'm just trying to blend the both colors I use so that it will not be showing where the first color started and where it stopped. So you have to blend it very, very well when you're doing that. So now I've gotten the perfect look. So I did the other eyes off camera. Now I'm using my Kairat brow black gel with my small angle brush to draw her wing eye. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just drawing her wing. I'm stretching the outer part of the wing. So I'm drawing it into the eyes. So when you're lining, please, when you're drawing your wing eye, it needs to be straight. Just do a very perfect wing. So you follow it. I'm just taking my time to do these things so that you know exactly how to do this when you're drawing wing eye. So I did the other eyes off camera, and now I'm using my glitter liner, my silver glitter liner, on top, directly on top of the wing eye that I drew, just to give it some extra shine and glow. Wow, this is lovely. I love the effect the glitter liner gave the eyeshadow look. It's going to change everything. So I'm just doing that gradually. So my student is helping me to clean the glitters on her natural lashes. So I fixed her lashes off camera, the forces that I use. I just picked it out of my tray. So I'm blending her foundation now. When you want to blend foundation on your client or model's face, ensure your beauty blender or beauty sponge is wet. Press the excess water out of it first before you start blending. Do not use a dry beauty sponge for blending your foundation. So I'm done blending the foundation. Blend all over the face, under the neck, the ear. So now I'm using my Flawless by Ivy in the shade 607 or 601 for her contour, because the foundation is darker than her skin tone. So that's what I'm using for her contour now. Just contouring her cheek and her forehead. Please, when you are doing this, you blend. You know, when you're blending foundation and contour, you're dealing with foundation, that's the time you need to blend, because every other makeup is resting on the foundation. You have to blend it very well. This is where you get your makeup right, and this is where you don't get your makeup right. So I'm just contouring her nose with that same Flawless by Ivy foundation. Just pressing my beauty blender, my beauty sponge. I'm using my HD lip stick palette, the orange color there for her blush. So I just tapped it in. I'm going to blend it now. Please blend everything to avoid harsh line. There should be no harsh line. There should be no harsh line. Blend it, blend. So now I'm going to be using that same concealer I use for concealing her eyebrow, my LA Gear Pro concealer in the shade Pure Beige and Fawn that I mixed. I'm going to be using it for her highlighted areas. That is what I'm doing now. Blending. So I'm leaving the under eye first, and after blending the under eye, I'm using my concealer brush to tap that concealer and use it to get that perfect wing, so that place will be very neat. It's a must. You have to do this if you want your eyes to pop out, to come out very clean and beautiful. You have to clean the extra eyeshadow that's there, and to lift your client or your model's face. So it is a must thing to do. I love to do that because it gives my makeup a very good finished look. So I just set the bridge of her nose using that same concealer. I'm using my benign setting powder to set all over the highlighted areas in the shade 04. That's what I'm using to set those places I used concealer. Please, I am setting, I'm not baking. When you touch your beauty blender with the setting powder, you blow out the excess powder out of the beauty blender and use it to set. So now I'm done setting all those highlighted areas, the bridge of the nose, under the eyes, the mouth region, the forehead. I'm using my Zekiel powder palette, her powder, to set the upper part of her brow, and I'm using her powder shade all over her face right now. You have to set everywhere. So I'm using my pencil, my black pencil, on her waterline. I'm just being precise. So I'm just lining the waterline. When you're doing this, please don't scatter it all over her eyes. I'm done with that. I'm using my 24 Kiss Beauty setting spray to set all over her face, and I'm pressing it in. That's the setting spray. It's a very good setting spray, and it holds your makeup. So I'm done with that, and I'm using my highlighter to highlight her cheek. My client is so loving her makeup already. I'm using it that's the Usher's highlighter. I'm using it on the bridge of her nose as well, and at the middle of her nose. And I'm using my Blossom mascara 2-in-1 to coat her eyelashes under her eyes. Please, when you're doing this, ensure you use setting spray all over her face before you do this. So when you're doing this, you have to coat it. It makes the makeup looks very beautiful and very fine and flawless. So I love to do that too. I don't know what my student is looking for at the background. That's my student, one of my students. So I'm lining her lips. I'm using my Kairat. That's Kairat I use on her eyebrow, that brown. That's what I'm using to line the outer part of her lip. And now I'm going to be using my nude, my classic nude lipstick, and my Mary Kay lipstick, all in the nude but different shades and different color, but both nude. Those are the lipstick. Sorry, not classic, glow up nude lipstick and the Mary Kay. So I used it to blend her lips. Now I'm using my Absolute transparent lip gloss on her lip. I love the way the lip came out, very, very beautiful and clean. I'm just using that same foundation I use all over her face to line her lips. I always do this. Please do always make sure you do this. This makes the makeup very beautiful, very, very beautiful. So I'm done with that, and that is the finished look. My client loved her look so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. She's so loving her makeup. She's just smiling. Please support your girl. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share, comment, love and support me. If you don't support me, how do I grow? My client is so loving her makeup. Please subscribe.